Hello, I'm Mike Gibson, and we're starting a new season of our program Capital Ideas Life. When we started preparing our program earlier in the year, we could never have imagined how the COVID-19 virus would change the world. In the spring, residents of many countries were locked down in their apartments. The streets of busy cities became deserted. In Moscow, as in the rest of the world, a quarantine was declared. Therefore, in the first program of our series, we will tell you all about life in Russia's capital city during the coronavirus epidemic. In today's episode, Moscow delivery services, food products, exercise equipment and home decorations, all in half an hour. How to become a doctor when universities are closed for the lockdown. A professor of the first Moscow Medical University gives lectures to foreign students from different countries from her country house in the Moscow region. Lessons during the epidemic. A schoolgirl from China learns Russian and takes piano lessons online. I, like millions of residents of Moscow, am at home during the coronavirus epidemic. Here I write the text of the stories for our program and record interviews with different characters via the internet. I have had to change more than just how I work. For example, because of the risk of infection, I prefer not to go to the stores. Fortunately, delivery services are very well developed in Moscow. Literally everything that's in the supermarkets can be brought home, and very quickly. For example, the scooter service promises to deliver products in less than half an hour. Let's check it out. While the courier is delivering my order, we will tell you what delivery services are available in Moscow and how they work during the epidemic. During the coronavirus epidemic, almost all Muscovites stay home for safety reasons. Everybody who can afford to do so works online from home, while meals at restaurants as well as general shopping has been substituted with courier delivery.
I order food in the Перекресток and Auchan supermarkets. As the workload is very big, I place orders 2 to 3 days in advance, and they are very punctual with food deliveries, very punctual.
Already during the first week of the lockdown in Moscow, the demand for delivery services has gone up by several times. Some 60,000 couriers make over 1 million deliveries a day. Today, people order virtually everything online. Ready meals, the food from shops, construction materials, home appliances, and much more. And the courier's profession has become one of the trades with the highest demand in the Moscow labor market.
In the first week of the lockdown alone, the number of orders saw a 40% increase. Based on the results for April, couriers of Samokat delivered 1 million orders. Today, couriers of Samokat make more than 30,000 deliveries every day. We started hiring new employees to our delivery team in the middle of March. Back then, in only a couple of weeks, more than 1,000 new couriers joined our team.
The lockdown has brought about not only an increase in the demand, but also a change in the geography of deliveries. Earlier, couriers worked mostly in the center of Moscow, where many offices are located. Today, most deliveries are made to remote districts in the city. This can be attributed to the fact that people shop online while staying home. The experience of other countries shows that during the quarantine, the demand rose, first and foremost for the delivery of food products, then for ready meals from restaurants. The same is true for Moscow this spring.
We see a big demand for groceries. This product category accounts for 1/4 of all orders in our service. Also, people often order bakery, dairy products, and household goods. The number of items in each order is going up too.
Online retailer ANTON is Russia's third major online shop. The company's site offers more than 5 million items. Against the backdrop of this ever-increasing demand, ANTON continues to operate to a busy schedule in full compliance with the safety requirements for its employees and its customers.
Number of measures we have with our couriers. We do everyday checkup, so we provide them with antiseptics, all the hygiene, and on the other hand, with the customers, we have well, first of all, we turned off post-payment method completely. Russia used to be a post-payment e-commerce country, so now it's turned off. So all orders are prepaid.
The lockdown calls for new rules. For example, a contact-free delivery. This service can be ordered at the stage of placing the order online. In this case, the courier communicates with customers while observing the distance. They deliver the order to the door of the buyer's apartment, record the delivery with the smartphone, inform the customer thereof, and leave. Only then the customer picks up the parcel. There is no contact whatsoever.
The current situation, of course, has a very big impact on how the business is going. I think number one change is we have much more safety measures now. And safety requirements are at a very high level, and that's number one priority for the company. So to make our workers safe, to keep our customers safe, this is the most important.
Another way of ensuring safe deliveries is delivery via pickup points. These are special boxes for storing goods. There are almost 2,500 pickup points across Moscow. You only have to choose the point closest to the place where you live or the nearest food store where you will pick up your parcel. This type of delivery is offered by our company on a free of charge basis. Muscovites do their best not to leave their homes without good reason, especially given that they can order everyday goods online and pick them up at their doorstep within a couple of hours. Among the companies offering this type of service is iGoods.
We are a service which shops for customers in hypermarkets and buys food to fill their fridges. We opened this service to the public 4.5 years ago. We started with St. Petersburg, and today we are available in almost 20 cities.
To order home delivery of food products, all Muscovites have to do is open the app, indicate the address, and select one of the 5 to 6 hypermarkets nearest to their home. The whole assortment of goods is shown on smartphone screens. The customer only has to add food products to the online shopping cart, choose the convenient delivery time, and place the order.
Then, the order goes to a specific shop and to a specific personal buyer.
Directly after the customer has placed the order, the buyer gets a message on their smartphone with a full list of goods. Buyers then accept the task and go to the trading area. To ensure product freshness, they start collecting the order no earlier than 3 hours before the delivery time. When choosing products, the buyer always checks the integrity of the packaging and the expiry date. If everything is fine, he scans the goods and places them in the cart. If the requested item is out of stock in the shop, the personal buyer calls the customer to discuss the replacement.
There's 9% fat cottage cheese in your order. It's not available now, but there's 5% fat cottage cheese.
The buyer has 1 minute to collect each item. As a rule, the customers of the service buy on a small whole-scale basis. Consequently, collecting one order usually takes half an hour. The average weight of an order is 26 kilograms.
In fact, that's a heavy purchase. It can be hard for our customers to carry them, but they can ask somebody else to deliver it.
During the lockdown, Muscovites' preferences haven't changed, but the average weight of the order has grown significantly. At the end of April, in early May, it went up to 35 kilograms. In addition to the larger volume of orders, the lockdown also triggered the growth of the demand for these services. During the peak, it increased by 20 times in Moscow. March and April saw the company expand in a short space of time just to be able to process and deliver orders.
In peace times, we had 2 servers, and today we already have 12. To handle the traffic which has dropped on our heads, we hire 300 to 500 additional employees every week to meet the current demand.
Meanwhile, the order is ready. The personal buyer pays for the goods, packs them in a special packaging box with thermal protection, and places them in a storage chamber. This order will later be picked up by the courier. He comes to the supermarket, sees which orders are ready, builds the route, and starts the deliveries. Due to the heavy weight and large volume of goods, the couriers only move by car.
Until recently, the factor which prevented people from switching to this service was their fear that a wrong item would be delivered. But now, many people have tested this service and seen for themselves that it works well. So, why not continue further with using delivery services for such a trivial thing?
10 minutes on the route and the courier reaches the address. Now he only has to give the food to the customer and the order will be complete. Hi.
Hi. Here you are.
Great. Thanks a lot. Thanks, that's great.
Goodbye.
Really quick. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye. As you can see, the courier delivered my order in only 25 minutes. In my opinion, that's amazing. Moscow delivery services allow Muscovites not to change old habits. Indeed, while staying at home, observing the self-isolation, it's possible for them to order and receive any goods. However, consumption is not the only pastime of Muscovites stay at home. They also work hard and study a lot. Coming up are stories on how the Moscow educational system has changed during the epidemic. Behind me is the first Moscow State Medical University, named after Sechenov. It's also known as the First Med. It's one of the oldest universities in Moscow and is more than 260 years old. 17,000 students study medicine here, and not only from Russia, but from Asia, Africa, and Australia. In May, the students start their exams. In normal times, there would be many people here, but now, because of the epidemic, the institute is closed. All the students are at home, but they haven't stopped studying. Now classes take place here, 50 kilometers from Moscow, not far from the town called STYA. It's right here from her country dacha that Yulia Lutokina, a tutor at the first Moscow Medical University, teaches her classes. Today we'll find out how she succeeds in distance teaching her students, not just from Moscow, but from many countries. Hi.
Hello, Michael. Nice to see you.
Great.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Julia Lutokina has a PhD in medical sciences. Since 2012, she has been combining her scientific research work with medical practice in the clinic. Since 2018, Julia has been working as an assistant in the therapeutic department and as a professor. Today, Julia has 2 groups of foreign students, a total of 40 people from almost every corner of the world. So here we are in front of the computer. Now, can you tell us a little bit about the materials that you use and how you teach?
So our university developed in a short terms a big portal. Here we see the electronic learning portal of Sechenov University, and we filled it with a high variety of materials for all our students.
Right.
So we see some links to additional resources. We see a big bank of multiple choice questions, clinical and ECG cases. We may do something with practical component.
Right.
We have a simulator. This is an online simulator for the auscultation. Here, the heart sounds, breath sounds, sounds of vessels auscultation, sounds of abdominal auscultation are available. We see the long list of different sounds.
We can hear it.
Yeah, it was like this. I can make it louder. Here is a patient with severe bronchial obstruction, so we hear wheezing here.
Right.
So it's a good opportunity to practice the auscultation skills. It's not replacement, once again, for real patient, but I think it's good opportunity.
Okay.
Here we have the lectures available for our students. We have separate part for our dentistry students because we teach them to internal medicine as well. Lectures, here is the part of about the video conferences with our student. But there is a problem that part of our students came back to their homes, and there is a problem with the time zones. I have found a solution such as a podcast records. So I create a podcast according to each topic of our term, and it is available to our students in any time they want.
Is that something you started doing with the lockdown during this epidemic?
Yeah, I have started it just because of this COVID epidemic and because our students are at home in different places of the world, and I want to make the material available for most of them. So I will show it to you.
Interesting.
Hello, dear colleagues. Glad to speak to you again. And today we will discuss the last topic about pulmonology in this term.
The duration of the podcast is the same as that of the ordinary lecture, about an hour. When the file is ready, the professor saves it and uploads it to the online platform. The unexpected upside of this type of learning is that you can listen to the recorded lecture several times. If students have questions, the professor is always ready to discuss a specific case. So you've had some feedback from your students about distance learning. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, thanks. The feedback is very important for me. So I asked our students to make a short video about their impressions. I will show you. This is a video of my student, for example, from the Tunisia. Here it is.
During this quarantine, during this period, our professors are always with us, and they are always teaching us through video conference, so that we cannot miss any lecture and any lesson.
Professor Julia, she's perfect.
Yes.
She built us this Google Classroom for us.
It's very convenient for us.
Yes, and we are motivated because she
it's
will
so fun.
Yeah, she will put the real cases we have to finish, then we get the points.
Yeah, and she will share the video inside the material, so that before we study, we can watch a short video and we will understand more.
Although Julia has managed to efficiently organise the online learning process for her students, she nevertheless hopes that this autumn she will be able to resume traditional teaching at the university. Meanwhile, during the lockdown, Julia has more time which she can spend at home, together with her family, and to enjoy her favourite hobby, playing the piano.
Now coronavirus even influenced this field of my life, so you will hear that my piano is out of tune now, but I have no opportunity to call for the piano tuner. But I still enjoy it. It's some kind of mood of Anton Chekhov, like a cherry orchard, nocturnes of the Chopin, romantic, like this.
Using e-textbooks and video lessons due to the coronavirus epidemic, this April saw 537 Moscow schools switch to distance learning. To ensure the continuity of the learning process, the Moscow government has developed, in a short space of time, 3 formats of learning from home for school children.
The first one is distance learning, the so-called conditional face-to-face, where the teacher interacts with their school children through the screen of the PC, notebook, or any other device as part of the video conference. The second format of distance learning is when the teacher sends special e-tasks. These are training materials, specific texts, or anything else related to the learning process of school children working on their own. And finally, the third format is teleschool, which operates on a daily basis on our Moscow educational channel. Teleschool covers the whole educational process, from the 1st to the 11th grade.
Today, more than 50,000 Moscow teachers work via the online teaching mode. They can conduct lessons from any place where the internet is available. To ensure the teachers learn how to use the new approaches to teaching, the Moscow Department of Education and Science has developed and put together more than 190 online courses and webinars for teachers to adapt to the new format and upgrade their qualification. And for school children, a special online portal for distance and e-learning was launched back in March during the first week of the lockdown. The site offers all necessary information, free services and links for distance learning, as well as detailed instructions on how to use them. If questions still arise, you can ask them by calling the 24/7 hotline.
The portal is upgraded on a continual basis. New exciting solutions and proposals made by practicing teachers are added to the site. In fact, we have already got used to this format. We work like this out of necessity, but we do it with confidence. We even develop new technological solutions.
Juetsei Imao-sin first arrived in Russia from China 26 years ago. He is from Shanghai, she is from Changchun. They met each other here in Moscow. Soon they married. Their daughter, NASTYA, was born here too. Today, their family, like many households in the world, lives in the lockdown due to the spread of the coronavirus. They almost never go outdoors, only in case of emergency.
Но мы нормально переносим. Я
We're okay with it. I'm also switching to online learning via Skype. My husband works from home too. Our daughter does distance learning as well. So we don't feel too isolated from society.
Every year, the family leaves for China, their home country, for summer holidays. But this year, the journey will have to be postponed for obvious reasons. Staying home, the family has a busy online working schedule. Mao Xin is a translator for the international news agency. Zhu Tsei teaches Chinese at a Moscow university.
Staying home and at the same time working from home is quite a challenge. Perhaps many think this is easy. You don't have to go outside. You don't have to use public transport. But I believe that online teaching involves more responsibility and more stress. And there's more physical stress too. After all, you have to keep your eyes focused on the screen all the time.
Their daughter Nastya, that's what she's called in Russia, also spends a lot of time now in front of the PC, tablet or smartphone. The music art school, where Nastya studies, is now closed for the quarantine like all educational establishments. A 6th grade schoolgirl, she is adapting to distance learning from home. Her music lessons are held via video format. It is for the first time that the girl performs a sonata by Mozart in this format. Her teacher, Tatiana, listens attentively, comments and corrects mistakes.
Nastya, that's already wrong. You're playing it very staccato. You can hear it, right? Too staccato.
The piano lessons are held twice a week. On top of that, there are 2 solfeggio lessons and the choir. The timetable is flexible. The time is discussed with Nastya's parents to ensure that music lessons do not interfere with general school subjects.
I started learning, or to be more precise, I realized what music is when I was about 3 years old. My mom used to take me to the teacher. There, we played dolls and listened to the music. And I began taking serious lessons with this teacher, whom I have today, when I was about 4. And I'm still learning.
Piano lessons are a contact process. It requires continuous interaction between the teacher and the student. It is not easy to organize this process online. You have to find unique formats and methods of teaching.
In Nastya's case, I used the following approach. First, she recorded her performances. I listened to them, and by the beginning of our lesson, I had an understanding of what I was about to do with her.
Straight after the piano lesson, Nastya has her Russian lesson. She switches from the piano to her desk with a textbook, notebook and tablet. Everything you need for distance learning from home.
Good morning. Today, we are going to revise the topic of alternating vowels in the root.
All the materials necessary for the lessons are available on online platforms. The main one is the Moscow e-school portal. It includes all textbooks, tests and tasks from teachers, and also the results of the teaching, school diaries with grades.
We use the resources of the Moscow e-school in our work every day. In the classroom, we simply used to do everything on interactive panels. Our capabilities were a bit different then. So, in comparison to traditional lessons, it takes us the same amount of time to get ready for the e-lesson. The only difference is that we try to explain the material in a more concise form during the distance lesson in order to minimize the homework and not overload our children with tasks in front of the screen.
And this is how it goes every day from 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. Math, literature and physical education. Everything is online. There are 5 to 6 lessons in a row during the day. Nastya doesn't miss any of them.
I'm happy with the learning process, except for one aspect. It's not enough. 30 minutes for each lesson is not enough. You see, after all, I'm Chinese. I have a Chinese mindset. Chinese children work very hard, even in the lockdown. Even when they stay at home for the quarantine, they continue working very, very hard. And what happens now is more like a holiday.
Time will show who worked hard and who played hard. The results of distance learning will be assessed when all the children are back to school. As you can see, despite the virus and all the restrictions, life in the city has not stopped. Schools and institutes carry on operating and couriers deliver goods. In the next program, we will continue our story about life in Moscow during the coronavirus epidemic. You will see how theatres and museums have adapted to work via the internet, how businessmen help doctors, as well as about foreigners working and living in the city. My name is Mike Gibson, and this is the program Capital Ideas Life. Stay healthy, stay safe. See you in a week.